So, hello everyone. Happy Testers Day. So, let's wait for a minute and we'll start the conference. So, hello everyone. The wait is over. The QA Touch FutureTest 2025 is live now. So, very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. So, welcome to QA Touch FutureTest 2025 on a very special day, Global Testers Day. Today is all about celebrating the testing community, the passion you bring, and the impact you create in building quality software around the world. So everyone creating the impact to build the quality software in each corner of the world. So at QA Touch, we truly believe testers are a hidden strength behind every successful project. This event is our way of bringing together great minds, sharing knowledge, and learning from each other. We are so glad to sorry. So we are so glad to have all of you here with us today. Before introducing the speaker, I have a small quote in my mind. So the quote is AI does not replace tester, it gives them superpowers. So welcome Spash Keshari from Lambda Test will kick things off with build your own AI testing agent, showing us how to craft intelligent testing tools that leverage AI for powerful results. So welcome. How are you?
Thank you so much, Edmund. Yes, I'm doing very well. Uh, First of all, happy Testers Day to every one of all of you, all the curious minds out there, all the quality engineers, all the guardians of quality of product. Happy Testers Day. We wish that this was a global holiday, but we can make what we have. So yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%. And the stage is now in your hand. Like you can take over.
sure. Thank you so much, Edmund. Let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this exciting session on how to build your own testing AI testing agent. I'm thrilled to have all of you here today, and we will dive into what is the future of testing with AI and agents. As Edmund said, and uh, AI will not replace testers. AI will augment testers, and it will give testers a special superpower. So we will learn about how you can what. So we'll learn about what is AI agent and how can you use it into your day-to-day testing workflows. So now let's get started and see how we can build more smarter and more efficient agents together. And just before we start, just a introduction. I'm Spurge Kesri. I work as a senior developer relations engineer at Lambda, where I get to work closely with and for the testing community. And my team at Lambda is building an AI native end-to-end test engineering platform that we will get to see later in today's event. But for now, so if you have any chat, if you want to chat, or if you want to contribute to testing community, or if you want to know more about Lambda Test or community, please feel free to scan my QR code and would love to connect with you all. Uh, so in today's session, here's what we'll learn together. We'll start with what AI agents actually are, setting up the foundation and understanding about agents and autonomy. Then we'll move on to the architecture of agent. we will look into some of the agentic frameworks and how they are shaping the ecosystem. After that, we will also deep dive into MCP, or Model Context Protocol, uh, which is a powerful way to connect AI agents and tools and systems. And finally, we will end the session with a short demo where I will show you how you can build or even customize your own AI testing agent according to your needs. So, before we get started, let's begin with a question. What exactly are AI agents? At their core, AI agents are the system that can autonomously perform tasks. Unlike a traditional AI agent, a, uh, unlike a traditional AI model that just gives you one-time response, an agent can actually reason step by step, plan workflows, and take actions using tools that is available to it. Now, these actions are not limited to generating tests. Agents can handle things like decision making, problem solving, interacting with external systems, and automating process. That's why now you see AI agents everywhere, from software testing to automation to code generation and even conversational assistants. So, what makes this possible? At its core, most agents are just LLM models. The LLM acts as the brain, but the real magic happens when you give the brain the ability to call tools, fetch real time data, break down big goals into subtasks, and execute them. This is where agents go beyond static models and become truly useful. Another key piece is learning and memory. Agents can store past interactions and adapt to user preferences over time. This feedback loops allows them to test, get smarter, and more personalized when you start using them. So, in short, AI agents just do not respond. They reason, they plan, act, and learn. And that's exactly what makes them a game changer for future of testing, automation, and the world. Now, let's deep dive into the autonomy of AI agent. AI agents are complex systems that are composed of basically five main key elements that work together to enable an autonomous task completion. The first is LLM, the brain. At its core, every AI agent is an LLM model. This serves as a brain of the agent, providing fundamental intelligence and language understanding capabilities. The LLM allows the agent to process, generate human-like tests, understand context, and make decisions based on vast amount of training data. Second comes the planning. Planning basically means dividing objectives into smaller tasks. One of the critical abilities of AI agent is the capacity to plan. This component allows the agent to break down complex objectives into series of manageable tasks like analyze given objective, identify necessary steps to achieve goals, prioritize these steps in a logical, sequential manner, adapt the plan as a new information becomes available. The third part is action, basically use of tools. The action component is where the AI agent interacts with its environment to accomplish tasks like uh, tools or APIs. We can perform tasks like performing web searches, executing code, accessing databases, and interacting with software systems. The fourth comes the profile. The profile describes the agent behavior. The profile of an AI agent defines its behavior, personality, specific capabilities, and it includes uh, agent's role or specification, tone or communication style. We can also add ethical guidelines and constraints to it. There are specific knowledge domains or areas of expertise. The profile enables the agent's behavior enables that it ensures that the agent response and the actions are consistent and appropriate for the intended purpose. And at last, the memory, the most important part of an AI agent. This restores and recalls the past interactions. The memory component allows AI agent to store and recall informations from the past interactions. This is crucial for maintaining the context of ongoing conversations, learning from previous experiences, performing and improving performance over time. Providing personalized responses based on user history, memory can be short term or long term as well. So, so you might have also tried LLMs in your past. So there is a vast difference between how traditional LLMs process things and how agentic process are processing things. The traditional LLMs follow a predefined path. For example, we have a query. Uh, a LLM will perform steps into a linear chain of reasoning. It will start with step one, and it might spread out to step two to step n until it gets the final response. LLM then crafts the information by analyzing the information that it gets from processing all the steps from 1 to n. The important thing is that everything happens inside the model and the flow is fixed and sequential. Thinking of it like walking down a straight road, the model doesn't pause you to bring outside help. It just reasons step by step until it reaches the destination. And that's where you might also have seen different types of hallucinations because it follows a probabilistic pattern recognition in the backend, and it gives you an response even if it doesn't get the correct response. Now, with agentic processes, it changed the whole scenario out there. Now, agentic processes don't just follow a single predefined path. Instead, the LLM first reasons about the problem, almost like stopping at the crossroad and deciding what the best route forward. How should I handle this step? For example, we have a query, and the LLM will then reason and understand what steps and how to distribute this particular problem by dividing into sub problems, how to distribute it into all the available agents that are out there. Then it delegates. Agent 1 should handle the first part, agent 2 should handle something, and agent 3 might be called only if it's needed. This is the act part of the agentic process. The LLM then keeps analyzing the results on the way. That's the reasoning part of the agentic process. And it adjusts the part dynamically based on the response that it gets. So there is no rigid script. There is a reason, act, and reason loop where the model can pivot, backtrack, and branch out as required. So basically, here the LLM is thinking what should be the next step and how should we solve this problem. Now, also let's see a bit of the thinking architecture of AI agent frameworks. There is there isn't one single standard architecture for building AI agents. Instead, there are different paradigms for solving multi-step problems. On your left, you will see a React model framework. This is basically reasoning with action and observation. Here, the task is wrapped inside a context and exemplars before being passed to the LLMs. Then the LLMs generates a thought and action. Then it pauses for observations from tools. And then it continues to reiterate this process until it gets a response. The observation is added back to the history and the loop continues. The TAO model, or the think, act, and observe model, it will reiterate the loop until the user gets the desired result. The challenge here with React framework is that uh, here is redundancy, and since the same context get refeeded in the loop, the process might get elongated. Like it might not be needed that much, but it get reiterated that much that we can call it redundant as well. On the right, we will see a Revu framework that is basically reasoning without observation. Instead of looping, a planner generates a structured plan. The worker executes the plan by retrieving evidences from the tools. The worker then executes the plan by retrieving the evidences from the tool, and then the both plan and evidences are combined with a task and fed to a solver, which produces a final solution. This avoids the constant repetition but shifts the complexity into planning and coordination. So the key takeaway from this is that agent frameworks differ how they balance reasoning, action, and observation, and that the choice affects efficiency, scalability, and how they handle the complex task. So if you are building a AI agent, you might look into these frameworks as well. So now, uh, before we jump into model context protocol or MCP, now let's understand what the problem it solves. So basically, the challenge is LLMs or large language models are incredibly powerful, but they are also isolated. They need tools like APIs, databases, or files to interact with the real world. Now, the challenge here is called the N into M nightmare. For example, we have built a tool, a system where we have multiple AI models. Like we have Claude, we have ChatGPT, we have Gemini. One is using for chat, one is for image generation, and another is for analytics. And now we have other five tools like an API, it could be an automation script like Playwright, or it could be a CRM, or it could be a cloud storage soft service, and so on. Which means that we need to build three times five or 15 separate integrations. Because, for example, Claude might give the response in a different schema, and while Playwright or an automation or an API might require data in a specific schema to process it. But what happens is that we have to build an translation layer between them. But what happen if in some days the AI agent or the AI model changes the output schema? All the work that we have done is lost. This creates a big problem. Developers are overwhelmed with the complexity and different APIs. They were constantly rebuilding stuff that they have already built, because the models or the schema that got changed. This process slowed them down. Teams were reinventing the solutions, and business get logged into specific vendors because the tools are tied to particular models. This tooling chaos hold back the full potential of AI, and we needed something to fix it. So very recently, uh, Anthropic came out with a MCP or Model Context Protocol. This is a protocol. It's not a product. Like think of it as an HTTP for web. Think like HTTP for web, but AI for MCP is for AI tools. Uh, MCP is an open standard, which means that it is a universal language which lets AI models communicate with external tools. So basically, understand that, like if you can see in the diagram, we have uh, we have a host with MCP client, which have different types of MCP server 1, MCP server 2, MCP server 3, which are communicating with their different types of data. It could be a local data source, it could be one could be a code generation source, and third could be an API or a remote service. So they require input in a specific format, but the models will be giving the response in a specific format. So AI here bridges this gap. So they with the help of MCP, they created a uniform standardized layer where all the AI and the tools out there can communicate into a two-way system. So whatever the local system or the database or any tool that we are connecting can talk directly to the AI model, and as well as the AI model can talk back to the AI tool in a simple non we do not have to create anything for that. So this solved a lot big problems that we are facing out there. So the core idea is simple. Instead of creating custom integrations for every model tool pair, we just teach the model to speak MCP once, and each tool speak MCP once. So 3 models and 5 tools, you only need 8 integrations instead of 15. So you can also think MCP like an USB-C port for AI tools, a standard connector that connects and works across everything, simplifying development and making AI more accessible. So what so like in simpler terms, what did MCP introduce new? So MCP introduced a transport layer, just like a JSON RPC file, which is then followed by all clients and all servers to exchange data. And this happens in a very standardized way. This means that every tool, every model doesn't have to reinvent their own way to communicate. Instead, they are using a common format for request and responses. So now let's see AI in action. So for this, I have a simple so this is my VS Code, where I have installed a Playwright MCP, which is a model context protocol server that gives the client that is out there the browser automation capabilities of Playwright. So like you can go to the extensions, and you can find Playwright MCP servers down below. You can just click on you can also click on start server, and this will start the MCP server there. So the MCP server are not limited to just Playwright. Now MCP servers are built for all the languages and tools that are out there. This protocol is open and flexible, so any model or tool that follows it can communicate with the building the custom integration. For the client side, I have a simple VS Code IDE, and I have combined this with GitHub Copilot. This allows me to work as an AI agent process in a developer environment. The model is running here, and I can change this model. I can select
Uh,
a
Sparsh, actually, we are not able to see this, see that code. We can see only that. Let's see it in action.
sorry. Let me reshare my screen. Hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, wait, I will add. Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
So let me restart again. So basically, um, this is a simple VS Code ID that I have, and I have installed a GitHub Copilot with it. So along with that, so the GitHub Copilot act as an agent for me, where I can interact with my code as well as the Playwright MCP that I have installed. So if you want to install Playwright MCP, or if you want to also browse different types of MCP, you can just go to the extensions page, and you can find MCP servers down below. You can just uh, click or you can click or view different types of MCP that are available with VS Code. And for this, I have just clicked on install Playwright, and this has been installed in my VS Code. You can also play around with different MCPs, and you can also check out the different capabilities of different MCPs. This can make your life very easier. So now what I have done is that Playwright MCP is installed. I have GitHub Copilot installed, and I have a VS Code ID. Now I can also select on different types of models that are available. So these are the models that come with GitHub Copilot. I can also add any premium model that I have an access to. I can select this. I can add the API key to VS Code, and I can enable this different types of models that are available. Now let's see what we have built to customize this AI agent that suits my needs. So basically, I have created 3 more files. These are chat modes, instructions, and prompts. So the prompt folder contains all the task specific prompts. So basically, I have different types of prompt that can basically start from automate form prompt, it can generate test cases, and it can also create a manual test report, it can also remove comments, etc., etc. Let's see what's in there. So these are simple set of instructions, like what is the process if this particular prompt is triggered, what it will follow. It will explore first, it will use Playwright's MCP tools to navigate and understand the websites, and then it will create me a structured TypeScript using Playwright test that for the scenario that we have given. And not only this, it will revalidate, it will execute and iterate till all the test cases that I have generated passes. And after that, we will also refine uh, the test, that we can follow all the best testing practices that are out there. I have also listed down some critical requirements, that we have to take screenshots, we have to navigate different types of snapshots, we have to understand the application flow. So these are not generating test scripts blindly for a particular page. It is actually going into the page, iterating as a user, and then giving me all the scripts that I need. I have also added a success criteria. You can change the success criteria or any other uh, overview or requirements according to your flow. And this will basically customize this agent according to what particular things that you need. Now, in the instructions folder, I have basically all the coding standards and the best practices that I need. So basically, if you have a particular set of themes that you follow in your organizations, or if you want to follow in your work, you can list them out there. That these are the particular locators I want to follow. These are the assertions or timeouts I don't want to follow. I can also define on the clarity. We can also define the test structure, the output of the test structure, that how it will import, how it will describe, all the hooks, all the titles. So the agent, while executing, have to follow these file structures, all the best practices that is there. So you have to iterate through, you have to play with this all the uh, instructions and context to get the best what you need for uh, your test script generation, or whatever use case that you are building this AI agent for. So here also we have also added what a sample test scenario as well. So this is how I need my test generated to look like. I have also an execution strategy, also a checklist. I've also added Playwright documentation so that it can refer to all the locators, all the services that are there in Playwright as well. Now, chat modes. Chat mode is the most interesting part here. So chat modes are basically AI personas or specialized mode. So chat mode defines how AI should behave, such as tone, focus, or expertise. And like if you choose different chat modes, it should switch between different roles depending on the situation. So for example, I have a test explorer chat mode. What it will do is that it will systematically go through all the navigations, do a structure analysis of what are the pages, what are the buttons or the navigation elements that are available to me, and forms, input, delivery, key activities, uh, the documentation guidelines, the best practices. This is basically a test explorer persona. Similarly, I also have created a test generator persona. So what it will do is that it will go again, explore a page, it will plan, it will, and then implement a structured Playwright test using Playwright test, and it will execute test, it will refine them. And I've also set a key guidelines of what not to do. So uh, this is the must. I find it useful in the past that the website that we are testing should explore the page first. It should not go blindly and generate test cases. If you have used ChatGPT to generate test cases, you might have seen that it will give you a predefined what is supposed to be there on the page kind of a code in return. But what we need is here what is actually out there. I've also added some test quality standards. So let's trigger a different type of prompts. So basically, just a homework for all of you guys. If you are a beginner or if you are exploring what is out there, I will share a couple of resources where you can just use this chart modes and instructions and prompts, and you can create your own AI agent which solves your needs. You can also use it for different languages or frameworks as well. So let's trigger this. Now the agent is saying that yes, we have triggered, but we have not shared the URL that we want to test. So let's put I want a systematic test for registration at lambdatest.com. What we'll do is it will try to open a browser. Yeah, so it is asking me to that if it can open a browser or not. So what it did is basically it opened the browser. Now it is exploring the page. You can see the elements as there. Let's navigate to the registration page, and it found the registration page, and now it will write some test cases for this registration page. So also a disclaimer, again, still it's AI, so it might give you a bad result, but we also have to work with what AI has given as a result, and we have to correct if we can make any corrections in that code base, or if agent is, or we can also give prompts so that the agent can correct the test case that we require. So we have to be patient, we have to play with the context, we have to play with all the prompts that we are giving. So there is no exact prompt that solves everything, but we have to be patient about it. So again, it gave us it, it gave us a couple of test scenarios. Now what we can do, so it can so there are different types of scenarios. User can register with an email, homepage navigation elements, platform feature visibility, navigate to a browser testing section, integration sections, and it has given me a lot of test cases. I can go through this, and I can also execute this directly within the agent, with the agent as well. So this is giving me a run command. So I will just execute it and wait for the results. I'm pretty much seeing that it might give me a broken test, which I will have to then again go and fix, but that's completely okay. Yeah. So there are a couple of failed tests, so which we can solve or resolve. So as this is inbuilt with Playwright, this is a Playwright test report, and we can see what was the point of failure, uh, what is the screenshot out there. We can also view the video of this execution, and we can try to fix this test case and also push it towards it. So this is how we can build an AI agent or even customize agent according to your flow. So I will just quickly, due to interest of time, I will just quickly switch to the next slides. So this is basically what more you can do with an AI agent. You can create a server that helps you apply clean coding principles to all your previous code. You can give prompts like that. You can go through the test suite, refactor all the code, follow a clean coding practices, remove duplications that is there. You can add more stuff to it, and it will basically go through all your code and make some changes, give you suggestions, and you can accept it or reject it. So this has made our life lot of like very easy, because this will take a lot of developers lot many days to apply clean coding principles to the past code, and even developers don't even touch the code that is working. So uh, so this helps us save time. So you can make a commit, you can fork it, and if it fails, you can go back to the previous commit as well. You can also make an agent that similar to that, that if there is a new pull request that is open, based on the file changes, we only want to find the relevant test and run only those who which the new code has impacted. Or you can also triage test cases, triage test based on staging environment and investigate the failures. And if it is a new UI change or any type of change, you can fix it, or you can also open an issue on your Slack team. So there is a lot of process that is made simpler using AI agents, and you can also try and have fun with this. And there are two couple of resources that I would like to share. This is one is basically Playwright MCP. So basically try this out. And uh, last one is basically a resource from GitHub. This is Awesome Copilot, and it has a lot of prompts, instructions, and chat modes that you can play with. So these are not specific to testing. You can also take a look at different types of chat modes, like if you want to address PR comments, if you want to uh, pull any type of comments, if you want to push different type of changes, you can automate a lot of process that was manual earlier. That's about it. Thank you so much. Uh, if you have any questions, please do paste them in the chat. And I think I'm a bit uh, taking a couple of minutes more.
Yeah, definitely. Like you took a lot of time anyhow. So Opeyami also like waiting the next speaker. So sorry about that, Opeyami. Like we will take like a few more minutes to answer like a few questions along. So quickly, like what I will do is like, I will pick a few questions, and don't worry, guys. Like what I will do is like we noted all the questions, so we cannot like answer like all the questions right now. But what we will do is we will surely post a detailed post or dedicated post for each one of you. Or sorry, each one of your questions in QA Touch official LinkedIn. So here's one questions like I picked Sparsh.
Okay. So Mahindra, so basically, yes, we can provide the context of application that is under test. So what, with the help of MCP, we are able to provide the context of our whole code base to that AI agent. So what the AI agent will do is it will iterate through all the code that is there. It will go to particular sections. It will see what kind of changes or suggestions that we need, and it will give you proper response. This was only possible due to MCP, when MCP came out, like uh, to the world. How do you debug when playwright action fails inside MCP? So it depends on specific cases. Like if playwright actions is failing inside MCP, so it depends on particular use cases. If you have any particular use cases when the actions are failing, can you explain a bit more to me? Or like
So
you can reach out to me on LinkedIn and we can have a chat around it.
yeah, so I will load next question.
Sure. How are you going to maintain test cases for enterprise applications which have a lot of workflows and other combinations? We need to reuse the code instead of starting steps from login page for every test cases. You do not need to start code from the start, like from login page of every test cases. So whatever code base that the enterprise applications have, they like a lot of enterprises have their own MCP models. So what the MCP model has done is that it has learned through all the code that is there. So it is on the same state as the application that you are testing, and like it will like whatever prompt that you give, if you want to build up, uh, you can use that particular prompt, and it will try to maintain your test cases forward.
Thank you so much, Sparsh. And what I will do is like I will mark all the question to you. So as I said, like everyone, like we will dedicatedly like post each one question and give a detailed answer about that, and also like we will connect the speakers as well. Thank you so much, Sparsh, for the wonderful session. So it's time for the second speaker. Thank you so much.
Happy to.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So, before welcoming our next speaker, so I have another quote in my mind. So, the quote is the future of testing lies where human intuition meet machine language. One more time, I'm repeating. The future of testing lies where human intuition meet machine intelligence. So, next I'm going to welcome Opayami. So he will share the AI augmented tester, balancing human intuition and machine intelligence in modern QA. By exploring the balance, he will reveal how AI enhance the testing world without replacing the essential human touch. So let's welcome Opayami. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Edmond.
So
All
how are
right.
you doing?
I'm all right. I'm good. Thank you. How are you too?
Yeah, I'm good too. So once again, like I want to tell you, like happy tester day to you as well, and our audience as well.
Yeah. Happy Testers Day to you, to Edmond, and to everybody watching.
Yeah, sure. So what do you obey? So the stage is like now in your hand, so you can do your magic. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. So yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. Thanks again, Edmond, and thanks to Spash. Spash already did a lot of my work for me. I think that he has done the heavy lift, and that's the good thing about being the second speaker and not be the first speaker. So typically today we'll be looking at AI augmented tester, which is typically talking about balancing human intuition and machine intelligence, right, in modern quality assurance. There's been a lot of buzz and a lot of questions around what's the future of software testing, what's the future of quality assurance in general. So today we would typically explore some of these questions. I may not necessarily have all the answers to your question or whatever it is that you have in mind, but I would also try and answer some of the question. My name is Olugun Ojokoyemi. I currently head the testing and quality assurance team of Union Bank in Nigeria. I've spent a couple months into years sort of researching into how we can best utilize artificial intelligence in software testing. And I mean, I've been able to come up with a couple things. And so um, this will kind of make this very interesting. So I'll be sharing some of the things I've done. And I mean, we can all learn together. All right. So I thought to put a sort of disclaimer that the content of these slides that you're about to see is subjective, absolutely subjective, and they are strictly based on my view and my research, right? So I thought to put that first so that we're all very clear. Okay, so let's get into it. The introduction to this is AI is really reshaping quality assurance, and it's not just about quality assurance, it's really every sector, as it were. Even within the software development, the software development lifecycle as a whole, talking about requirement gathering, AI is doing fantastic work in that space. In software development, AI is doing like an absolute of vendors work in that space, and even in quality assurance, AI is doing excellent. Both functional and non-functional testing. You can now leverage AI for any of these things, right? And so it's very important that we talk about it. I mean, you can embed AI even into your CI/CD pipeline. We can put it in our test frameworks, across the entire SDLC. AI is, having so it's not just a buzzword again. It's our reality. It's our new reality, and we have to embrace it. And again, I mean, like I tell people, the early we embrace AI, the better for us. So um, then the goal really is we want to explore the efficiency of AI, then we also look at the human insight and see how we can balance these two things together. And I mean, for the end goal is for experienced QA and engineers, what do we need to do, going forward? That's typically what we'll be speaking about. So let's go into where AI shines in testing today. I mean, the good thing is Splash already did a fantastic work of, telling us on how you can use MCP for testing, either especially the agentic aspect of things where you can actually use AI to run testing, right? And even beyond that, you can use AI for just your regular test generation. Either you are using, say, a ChatGPT or whatever Copilot, whatever AI, generative AI you have in the market there. You can just feed it user stories. You can feed it images, you can feed it Figma designs, you can feed it whatever it is, and it's able to generate for you test cases. As a matter of fact, you can also connect it to your whatever tool you are using to manage your application, your project. I mean, I've done some work in the past where I typically connect it to, say, a Jira, for instance, and I'm able to generate test cases based on the user story, that I have on both Jira and Azure, as it were, right? So again, the possibility are limitless on what you can use it for, especially when it comes to generating your test cases. And these days we can also just plug into your models directly, like we saw earlier. Spark showed us how that can actually happen. And even beyond that, there's also the self-healing script, right? Where in the past, where you write your automation script, once the developer push, new code, and say an element has changed from the front end, for instance, what happens is your test breaks, right? So you would have to then go into script maintenance. You have to go change that particular element so that your testing can continue to pass. With self-healing script, you don't necessarily have to do that. The AI is able to crawl into it and is able to get you the new element, and your test continues to run. Now, that's a capability that has really changed the game for automation testing. I know for a fact that Playwright has that capability. I've tried to explore that with Cypress, but well, again, like I said, it's subjective. If you have tried it and it worked for Cypress, I would love to get that feedback. But I've tried it for Playwright and it did work. So again, it just makes the work easy for quality assurance engineers, for testers alike. And so from there, we also have explored AI in terms of predictive analysis. So it typically helps you with defect clustering. So you're able to know where to concentrate your testing on. It's able to predict the likelihood places where you can find bugs, right? Especially when you want to do your regression, right? So these are things that AI is able to help us achieve. And finally, for generating data, I mean, it's just to prompt it to say, hey, I need XYZ number of data. And, AI is able to, now, beyond just generating data, it typically helps you to generate data that, sort of matches with the exact use case, that you want to test for, right? So these are some of the places where, again, this might be more, but we're just talking about the places that, currently we're seeing the dominance of AI, over what human would do. And the interesting thing about this is all of these processes, if you were to run them as human, beyond the self-healing, for instance, it will take you a lot of man hour, right? But with AI, in less than a couple minutes, all of these things are done, right? So these are typically where AI still shines today. And Yes, the next slide, we'll see the interesting part. And that's where humans still sort of outperforms AI today. It's let me put this out there first, right? That there is always a question of, will AI replace testers? I think that the best way I would answer that question, or the best way I would love to have, asked that question is, can AI replace testers? Now, the real answer for me, and like I said, this is very subjective. The AI can replace testers. Hold up before you come to judge me, and I'll tell you why I said so. Um, coupled Most of the things that we do today, we've seen that it is really possible for AI to do them. But the other question of, will AI replace tester? Well, maybe in the future that we don't know yet, maybe it will be possible. But in the future that we are now, or the future that we're looking at, as it were, maybe it might not necessarily outperform human. And that's based on the fact that there is still the human touch to testing, right? So sometimes when you test an application, beyond the requirement document, beyond, because again, for an AI to test, AI would look at, say, the user story of the requirement, and is writing, is getting its own test cases off of whatever data that is already provided. But as human, when you test an application, there is that part of, I know what to expect as human. When I click on this button, for instance, I have an idea of what it is that I expect this button to do for me. Or when I look at a particular text, I know that this is not the way this text is supposed to look like. For instance, I'm seeing font that is very tiny in an application, and I know for a fact that for human experience, for customer experience, this is not very ideal. So as human, I can tell you that, oh no, you need to increase the font size, or you need to change this font, for instance. So it goes beyond the functionality. There are other things that, there are some logic that as human, you think in your head that this is the way this application is supposed to perform. I mean, for experienced testers, experienced quality assurance engineers on the call, you find that a lot of times you get to even question the requirement document. So business could say that, because let's get this very clear. Business would write requirements to solve their problem, right? But developers would implement in a way that they feel would solve that problem in some cases. Now, as quality assurance engineers or as testers, when you're testing an application, you are bringing that, not just the judgment of the requirement alone, you're also looking at how best can the customer appreciate what it is that you are giving to them as solution, right? So that's where the human touch, the human feel, the human intuition comes to play, right? So there is that part that currently AI would not be able to solve, right? So AI lacks empathy. I mean, like I stated earlier about fonts, for instance, the customer experience. AI would not necessarily look at the customer experience. AI would just look at whatever data is available for it to test with, and then it would, present its report strictly based off on the data available for it to work with, right? But human would still put that empathy. Then, of course, human would also look at the business awareness side of things, right? Human will look at the ethical judgment. I give you an instance where, so some couple things that some, so you have, say, some set of people that when you say stuff in a particular way, they find it very offensive. right? But you as human, you can look at it and say, oh, if we go forward with this, this set of people might find this, they might find it offensive, right? Why not you do it in this certain way? But hey, AI will just typically look at it and say, as long as it's fine functionally, we're good to go to the market. And of course, you get to the market, you get backlash, right? So these are some of the areas that human would still dominate software testing. But the future is the hybrid model, right? Where we can then leverage AI and the human touch, right? So the AI, we've seen that AI is able to do these fantastic things. AI is able to generate interesting test cases. As a matter of fact, test cases that even as human, you might not necessarily think about it. We talk about the edge cases that AI is able to generate. You look at the negative scenarios that AI is able to generate, things that you might not necessarily come up with in your head, right? We've seen that. We've seen that capability. We've even seen the capability of agentic AI being able to, by itself run tests. And of course, we've also talked about the human side of things, right? We've looked at the human having business context. We've looked at human having that ethical touch. We've also talked about human, having some level of sense of judgment that AI might not necessarily have. So the next thing is, how can we then marry these two things together, right? Because ultimately, the goal of every quality assurance phase is so that the whatever it is that the business has requested for is equal to what it is that has been implemented, right? And the new way of work, right, especially in agile, methodology, is really about speed to market, right? How best can we quickly, deliver this software product? How best can we quickly, go to the market? Now, to solve that, and I give you an analogy, right? If you are a business owner, you're looking to employ people to your business. If you have someone that is able to leverage the AI capabilities, and you have someone that is not able to leverage the AI capability, meanwhile, knowing fully well that with the AI capability, you probably get your testing done in 2 hours, but without the AI capability, you get it done in, say, 8 hours. Obviously, for business owner, you would go with the guy that will get it done in 2 hours, right? And so that's why it's very important that we have this hybrid model where every quality assurance engineer is able to leverage the capabilities of artificial intelligence, right? And that's really the essence of having this conversation, because it's not just the buzzword again, it's our reality. It is the new reality. AI is here to stay, and it has come to stay, right? So the best thing is us as professionals being able to leverage the capability, right? So we've talked about the fact that, I've mentioned the fact that AI is able to do automation, human is able to, put that test into it, right? And eventually we have an expanded coverage, right? So, I just sort of wanting to spotlight some of the pitfalls, right? If you leverage just AI, right? There is the missed business nuance. I've sort of touched on, and I used where you have to. Okay, so one of the things I said earlier was, if you have an application that you're targeting, say, certain markets, right? But in that market, there are a set of people that, when they see certain feature or they see certain thing in your application, they might not accept it, right? It could be for ethical reason. It could be for religious reason. It could be for whatever reason, right? Now, if you leverage AI full time to run your test, you stand a chance of that product being a dead on arrival, right? Because by the time it gets to the hand of this set of people, they find your application very offensive, right? But AI would not see this. AI would just look at the functional part of the application, whatever it is that you've defined for AI, and then it will just, pass it, and you launch your market thinking that you've saved time, you've cut off the human, whatever, and then you go to the market, then there's that backlash, right? So it's like a dead on arrival. And of course, there's also the skill degradation. We cannot stress this enough. And I don't know if this happens to every other person on the call, but for me today, once I type my mail, it's as simple as typing mail. I put it on either Copilot or GPT, and then I tell it to, refine it in whatever way I want it to refine it. What is happening to me, and I'm sure it's happening to a lot of people, is that human touch where you come back to reread your mail, you get to fine tune your mail, you get to, learn words, explore your dictionary to be sure that you're typing the correct thing, you're typing the correct word, you're using the correct sentence. These things that makes you human, that makes you yearn for knowledge, things that makes you want to read. You want to pick up literature because you want to enhance your literature skill. All of these things are dying because I don't need to do all of that. I just need to take it to GPT or whatever it is, and it gives the best of response for me. Let's bring it home, right, to software testing. In the past, where, for instance, I'm trying to automate, I know if you started testing early enough, we used to have an issue, I think, on Selenium back then, when you want to, I think the common issue at the time is when you're trying to scroll. I know, yes, eventually we're able to get some workaround, and, it used to be a big challenge way back in the days, right? And what that it was a challenge for a lot of us, right? We started, making research, you'd find best way to do things. You are, literally on different resources. You're trying to get this and that all together. But hey, these days, you do not need to do any of that. You just need the AI to generate the script for you and just run it. So what that means in a nutshell is the human skill is dying. The over-reliance on AI would lead to a lot of people not knowing jack. And I say that with every sense of, whatever sense you can think of, right? And I fear the most for the junior quality assurance engineers, the junior testers. Over-reliance on AI would make you, yes, you would deliver, right? But the real question is, if you are to defend what you have delivered, can you? The answer is obviously not. You cannot defend what it is that you've delivered. So, and that's why, as much as possible, we need to balance, these two things. And on the right side, we look at the regulatory blind spot, right? AI generated cases would mostly miss some critical edge cases that are peculiar to, say, regulatory. In Nigeria, where I come from, I work in financial sector, for instance, where we have regulators, right? These regulations come like on whatever basis that the regulators deem required, right? So there is that part of, the testing where, as a QA engineer, you have to be up to date with regulations. And so when you're running your tests, you are ensuring that you are compliant with whatever it is that the regulators has asked for, right? So again, these are just some of the things that, and we find real life scenarios. You can go online and look for some of the downfalls that AI has, right? So I won't want to waste our time or bore us with all of these pitfalls. But the real thing is, what should QA leaders do, right? And we need to do that now, and because we're beginning to see a decline, and even for, and I'm not saying this um, based on guess. I'm saying this based on even the things that I feel as a practitioner in the quality assurance space, right? So what we need to do to ensure that we balance up this artificial intelligence that comes to stay anyways with the human touch, right? Number one is ensure that all our testers are upskilled, right? It's not something that we can just take with a levity, and it's something that we need to uh, um, necessarily do as a matter of urgency, right? We need testers to have the basic knowledge on how to leverage AI in whatever it is they do, and of course, they being able to prompt, right? How to better do prompt engineering such that you get the desired result in whatever it is that you want to do. And if you want to leverage, say, like Spash showed us earlier, you want to leverage agentic AI for, say, either regression or for your test execution. It's important that we have our testers up to date with these skills, and then once they have this skill, we can then begin to appreciate the value that AI and the human intelligence brings into the quality assurance space, right? There's also the implement validation, a robust framework, AI validation framework, right? And and I like one of the things that Spash mentioned earlier, that some of the scripts generated by AI is subjective. And I know that even most of the generative AI frameworks will tell you that whatever it is that they generated is not foolproof. Is subject to some errors because it's learning from data that you and I are passing to it on a daily basis, right? So it's very important that we have a framework that sort of checks whatever it is that AI is generating so that we don't put ourselves into trouble, right? So meaning that, yes, we rely on AI to do certain things for us. But whilst we are doing that, we also have a framework to ensure that whatever it is AI has generated is correct, right? It's something that works, and not just works, but work for our organization, right? So it's very important that we have that balance. Then of course we need to utilize AI as a tool, not as a full replacement. I have said that before, and let me repeat that. We need to see AI as an assistant. It's a tool and not human. The role is not to replace human. Again, let me go back to the question I asked before. Can AI replace testers? Now, AI can replace tester under certain conditions, right? But will AI replace testers? My sincere answer to that is I don't think so at this point in time. And for reasons that I've stated, before. And so we need to start seeing AI as something that, yes, has the potential. It's a good to have. As a matter of fact, is important to have, but it is not to replace human, because there is that human touch, especially for certain businesses, that you must still have. But my worry essentially, and that one of the reasons why it's important for testers to get upskilled, is machine learning has the capability to learn over the years with a lot of data that we feed it. Meaning that some of these capabilities that we think that are maybe not necessarily possible for now, could be possible in the future, right? But you as a Q engineer that already understands and knows how to leverage AI will definitely have the edge. But if you do not, if you as a Q engineer refuse to upskill yourself, then when that time comes, you would become irrelevant in the market, right? And so that's why it's important you get upskilled, right? Even if we're seeing it as a tool, you must learn it, right? And the last thing here is retain oversight. We need to still ensure that human is in charge, right? Um, Human triggers the execution. Human initiates that validation framework to ensure that whatever it is AI has generated is correct and is applicable to our business. Because again, in your head, you'll be thinking when I said you need a framework to validate whatever it is that human has generated. You could then argue that why not just come up with an automated, framework to validate what AI has generated? But hey, meaning that you are still using AI to validate AI, right? Meaning you are still not solving the problem, right? But what we're preaching here is you should have human to oversight to sort of have that control over whatever it is that the AI has generated for you, right? So that that human essence is not essentially lost, right, in our test, right? Okay, so as I wrap up my presentation, AI has no skin in the game, testers do. Refer back to my statement about AI is a tool. It is not to fully replace human, right? So yes, AI has a lot of positive impact in the game, but testers still should have that perfect control, right, over whatever it is that we're testing. AI won't replace tester. Tester using AI will replace those who don't. And that was what I said earlier, that AI, the role of AI in software testing is not to replace testers. But if you as a tester, or you call yourself QA engineers or whatever it is, if you refuse to upskill yourself in being able to leverage AI, I'm afraid that the people that knows how to leverage AI will replace you. And that future is not very far. The future is literally now. So the future of QA is human plus machine collaboration, right? And hey, that's what it is that I have come to preach, right? AI is a tool that has a lot of capabilities, but AI should not replace human. Humans should have a robust framework to validate whatever it is that AI has generated. Thank you for listening to my plenty speech. Edmond, do we have time for question?
Yeah, definitely. So I had like a few questions. So it's not a question, like it's a comment from Pradeep.
Edmond, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I pinned few question like Pradeep asked. Not a question, it's a comment he passed.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
can
and I totally agree with him. And part of the things I said earlier is, well, I would not necessarily. So, and that was why I used, instead of using will, I used can. Can AI replace? Yes, it can, given certain conditions. But will AI replace testers? It's debatable. However, I think that the real conversation here is you need to upskill or you are left out. It's that simple. AI has come to stay, and we cannot deny that, right? So we need to now be able to leverage AI. That's really it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Opai. And yeah, so you can see the comment like a lot of people like share their feedback. Well done, great talk and everything. So thank you so much for presenting the great session about like AI and also like human touch. So it is like really good to listen as well. And even like I'm not a technical person, but still I watched your all these slides, like it is like too good. Thank you so much. And also
Thank
it
you.
is again like it is like little delay for the next speakers as well. Thank you for sharing the stage. If more questions come, like we will reach out to you. And
That's
also
fine.
um, everyone, like as I already said, like if more question came, and we will dedicatedly like post the question and answer in our LinkedIn QA Touch official. Thank you so much. And before welcoming our like next speaker, so I have another quote in mind. Okay, so for example, let's say like it is the third quote like which I am sharing today. So the quote is: "Quality is not just about like finding bugs; it's about like creating confidence." So I'm going to welcome Mary. She will walk us through QA Touch in action. How Mary brings order, speed, and confidence to every test cycle. Her talk promised practical strategies for applying QA Touch to streamline and strengthen your testing process. Let's welcome Mary. Hi, Mary. How are you? Um, Sorry, you're not audible.
Oh, yeah, I
Can you?
was muted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
hi, hello. Happy Testers Day to everyone
Happy
here.
Testers Day. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. So, apologies for the delay, and the stage is now yours. And so, thank you so much.
yeah, thank you very much. Okay, let me see. Oop. Okay, yeah, so hello everyone. My name is Marianne Rizzo, and I am glad to be here today at the Global Testers Summit. First, sorry, can you see my screen? Sorry, I
Yes,
don't
we
know.
can. Yes, we can. We can.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So, first, a big thank you to QA Touch for creating this platform for us to be able to learn from each other, right? And as I earlier said, my name is Marician Embezo, and I have been working in the QA industry, right? In the QA sector across different industries like the fintech, banking, industry, and so on. So I actually do spend my days testing core fintech platforms, web APIs, web apps, APIs, and collaborating with developers, right, to make sure that what goes live actually works for real users. And if I'm being honest, QA can get chaotic, right? So raise your hand if you've ever managed test cases in Excel. Yes, I've actually been there too. Hundreds of test cases scattered across tabs, updates lost, confusion everywhere. This was my life before QA Touch. Now, today, I want to share how QA Touch helped me go from that chaos to a workflow that feels structured, faster, and most importantly, reliable. So, we want to look at the real problem now.
Let me paint a picture, right? So, at one of my past projects, we were preparing a major release with over 200 regression test cases. Like everything was stored in spreadsheets, right? And we had like three testers updating the same file. And by the end of each day, someone's changes were actually missing. Stakeholders kept asking for updates, and we were manually writing log reports just to keep them informed. Now, it wasn't just frustrating, it slowed us down, created errors, and honestly made QA look more like a bottleneck, right? It looked more like a bottleneck in the project. So that's when I discovered QA Touch. Now, at first, I actually did think, oh, it's just another tool, right? But what I learned is that QA Touch isn't just about storing test cases, right? It changes the way you work entirely. So, how I use QA Touch. Now, how do I use QA Touch in my everyday testing? Well, the first point that we can see on the screen is that I use it for organizing my test cases. So, at an organization that I worked at, I had to manage test cases across multiple modules. Now, instead of creating separate spreadsheets, I I had built structured test suites in QA Touch, one for login, one for creating one for transactions, and one for reporting. Then suddenly my work was organized and easy to reuse. Then I use QA Touch for execution tracking. So actually, during one of the sprints at Tech Elevation, we had a tight deadline. So what I did was that I made use of QA Touch to mark results as I executed them, whether they passed, whether it failed, whether there was a blocker, right? Regardless of the status, I use QA Touch to mark the results. So by the end of the day, my project manager, could log in and see progress without pinging me 10 times, right? And then another way that I use QA Touch, one thing that I use QA Touch for, right, is for I use it for collaborating, right? So sometimes, right, when you're working in a team, there can be gap in communication. So with QA Touch, my developers could, you know exactly what test cases failed instead of me writing long defect reports. They had visibility in real time. And another thing that I use QA Touch for is the reusability. Now, regression is always a time crunch. QA Touch actually lets me reuse cases, right, across projects without rewriting them. So that actually saved me lots of hours. And finally, how I use QA Touch. I use QA Touch for reporting, as we can see. So basically, at the end of testing, I could just generate a clean report in seconds. So I used to spend hours formatting reports in, you know, Word doc. But then with QA Touch, that's handled, which actually freed up most of my time for actual testing. So we'll be moving on to the next slide, which is the impact. So you might actually ask, like you might be wondering, what's the impact of all of this that I'm saying? right? So first thing is order. So no more, digging through scattered files. Like everything was in one place, right? So QA Touch actually did bring order to my testing cycle as a whole, right? Then also, another thing is for speed, right? That's the next point. So I actually spend less time on admin tasks, right? And more time testing. Then finally, what we have here is QA Touch brought confidence. So, and basically, this is like my biggest win, right? For me. So, the that's my stakeholders no longer saw QA as the delay, right? Rather, they saw QA as transparent and reliable. So let me ask, how many of you have ever worked on a release where, the business team asks, "Are we ready?" And, you hesitated before answering? Well, I've been there. And QA Touch actually helped me, turn that hesitation into clear, confident answers backed by data. Now, the next slide, right, is basically lessons learned and practical tips. So I would say a few lessons that I've learned whilst using QA Touch would be, firstly, start small, right? So just pick one project to try QA Touch. Don't overwhelm yourself, right? And the next thing we have on the list is that we name things clearly. So a good naming convention will save future you a lot of stress. Trust me. And third thing we have on this list is focus on value, not volume. Right? So it's not just about writing thousands of test cases. It's about writing meaningful ones. Then make it visible. So use QA touch, um use QA touch reports early, right? And often. Don't just wait till the end of the sprint. You can use it like mid sprint, right? So visibility builds respect for QA. And then to wrap it up, QA Touch has become more than just a tool for me. It's part of how I bring order, speed, and confidence to testing. Now, if you take anything away from this, right? Let it be. I just want you to know that tools like QA Touch are powerful, but then the real magic happens when you use them consistently and, you know, build habits around them. And that's how you move from chaos to clarity. So thank you so much for listening. A huge thank you once again to QA Touch for creating this platform. And if you'd like to connect or continue this conversation, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn at Mercy and Ewezo. Wishing you all a successful test cycle. Happy testing. Bye. I don't know. Anybody has any question?
Yes, ma'am. Like we have few questions, which is like shared by Shiva Kumar. So, is Shiva like actually like what Mary planned today is like plan to go with like no slide presentation or else like without sharing the screen and all. So that's how like we did it today. Maybe like what we will do is like Shiva, we will do a monthly webinar for explaining like detailed about QA Touch and with Mary and also like other QA Touch team members as well. Thank you so much for the question and also like sorry about that. Like today we are not able to do it, but
Yeah.
we will do it in next monthly webinar session. And yeah, sure, Shiva. So, yeah, thank you so much, Mary. And yeah, Esteem, like before moving to our next speaker, so we want to uh, thank like our sponsors. Okay, so one is like Pradithwani. So all the time, like they are our community sponsors. So we love you at all the stage and also like everything. So we will do the in-person events in like 2026, like probably it will come soon. And one more sponsor is like the event sponsor, who's like Lambda Test. So this is like dedicated for this sponsor session. So when testing meets AI, efficiency turns into innovation. So let's like detail the video about like Lambda test, like gain AI, and also like vibe testing. So I'm just like going to present the video. Please listen.
Type testing using KNI testing agent. So what is KNI? KNI by Lambda Test is a GenAI native testing agent that allows teams to create, debug, and evolve tests using natural language prompt. Now, what I mean by natural language is that you can author a complete test case by any spoken language of your choice, such as Hindi, English, Spanish, French, etc. And you will get an automation script in return. KNAI is built from ground up for high-speed quality engineering teams and integrates seamlessly with the rest of Lambda Test offering around test execution, orchestration, and analysis. This is exciting, right? We'll see this in action today. Now let's head on to our KNAI dashboard where we can start planning and authoring your test cases. KNAI also gives you the capability to generate your test scenarios. For this, you just simply need to provide KNAI the high level requirements in the objective box. You can also upload a PRD or a file from your local system, or you can also connect KNAI directly with your Jira account. While generating test steps, you also have the option to limit the number of test scenarios generated. But today, we will see how we can author test cases with KNAI. So for this, we can simply add a high level objective in the box and click and toggle the button to quick author. But if you have a step-by-step requirements, you can also select the options down below. KNAI helps you author browser tests for desktop as well as for mobile. You just simply need to select the configuration of devices that you want and just click on author tests. With KNAI, you can also author your app tests as well. For this, you just simply need to upload your app, select the device that you want to run your test on, and just click on start testing. For today, let's create a simple web test by for browser, and I have a simple scenario for today. I have a scenario handy where we will log in into my Lambda test account and verify the login. And we will also assert that the logout button is visible or not. So I will just simply paste down all the steps in the objective box down. We can paste these steps in step-by-step format, or we can also club and paste it directly here. With the help of simple enter button, KNAI will automatically start performing all the steps that were provided. As you can see on the right side, you will see how KNAI is performing the steps that we provided in a browser window. With all the steps that are performed, you will also get to see detailed logs of how KNAI made that particular decision, and you can also debug this test later. You also have the option to view screenshot to see how KNAI clicked a button or searched a query or did a visual query on a particular button that we have mentioned. With KNAI, you can also have the option to insert a JavaScript query in the set of test scenarios that we have. We can also make an API call, add a database query. We can also club the recurring test steps into modules and call the module directly into our test scenario. We can also create parameters, make visual comparison between two web pages. You can also add secrets, variables, authentication key, and you can also upload a file directly from the box down below. Now let's wait for a couple of minutes for KNAI to complete this test scenario. As you can see, KNAI is making set of visual queries and performing this objective that we provided it. Now our test step is complete. We can also click on manual interaction mode and take over control of the browser window and perform the test scenarios, which then KNAI will interpret and convert it into automation script as well. But for today, let's finish and save this test case. We can select the particular folder that we want to save the test case. For this, let me create a new project. Add a description. And we can also add tags if necessary. Based on the test that we performed, KNAI will automatically give us a test name as well as a description, which you can edit, or you can also add different types of test types or the status of test that we created. Let's skip this for now and just click on Save Test. Once we click on Save Test, you can see all the test steps that we performed before. You can also click on View Screenshot and see again the screenshot, see the decision how KNAI got into that particular step or perform that particular step. You can click on Edit Steps, which will redirect you again to the agent window where you can add or modify any test step that you like. You can also toggle to the code tab where you will able to see the automation script generated of the scenario that we authored today. You can simply click on view code and you can copy, paste it in your local system, run it on your local browser as well. By default, the scripts are generated into Selenium Python, but you can also generate new test scripts in your own framework and language of your choosing. You can click on Playwright, you can click on Java or Python and just click on generate and the script will be generated in that particular framework and language. All the automated runs of this particular scenario that we authored will be visible in this runs tab. All the issues that were encountered during the automation run will be linked down below. If we click on edit steps and added any test scenario, it will create another version of the particular test that we authored, and all the versions will be linked down in this version history tab. You can also revert back to an older version of test that we have authored if there are any problems there. You can also click on run with hyper execute or create your own test run where you are basically running this test scenario across 5,000 plus browser device and OS combinations. So simply what we have done today is with the help of simple natural language prompts, we are able to create an automation script out of it. And we are also able to run it across cross browser, cross device, cross OS configurations. And that is vibe testing with KNAI. Hope you had a lot of fun. Thank you all for joining. Happy testing.
So thanks for watching our sponsor session. And Pradeep, we will ask Spash to answer your questions, and also we will connect to Spash, and yeah, you will get the KNAI. And yeah, yes, Pradeep, Spash answer your query. So it's a continuous chat, I guess. So definitely, Pradeep, Spash will get in touch with you soon. And so moving forward, uh, unfortunately, Mohammed not able to join today. He's not feeling well. So possibly we will take Mohammed's session separately in the upcoming months. So sorry about that. So Mohammed bin Salim, he planned to take the topic of AI is not AI in QA, transforming the way we test. So with the same topic, we will have the separate session soon. And apart from that, almost we at the end of the session. So here I'm going to welcome Bhavani, so our own gem. So she's the director of product at QA Touch. So talking about Bhavani, I remember this quote, yes. So the thing is, she always positive, and also she build her career from the scratch, and also she's a great listener, and also learner, and also motivator for everyone in the team. So here is a quote I remember: a single prompt can now drive thousands of tests. It's I wrote one, because a topic is a prompt to test, AI driven API automation. Bhavani will guide us through evolving best practices to drive testing forward using prompt engineering in AI automation with AI support. So let's welcome Bhavani. So I'm adding Bhavani to the stage. Hi Bhavani, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good and happy to meet you all. And I'm going to present now. Okay.
Thank you. So over to you, Bhavani. So your stage is now is in your hand. Happy Testers Day.
Yeah. Are you able to see my presentation?
Yeah, yes, Bhavani.
Edmund?
Yes.
Uh, Thank you for joining us. And I am Bhavani. I started my career in testing, and then I have moved to product management, and still always I am uh, participant of testing communities. So glad to meet you all at this event. I am Bhavani, the Director of Product Management at KTouch. Wishing the entire KTouch community a very happy Testers Day. Thank you for joining me for this session. Prompt to test, AI driven API automation. Next, we will see the presentation outline. We are going to see brief about API testing. Why does API testing matter? Our journey with the API testing, how we leveraged our internal AI agent for API testing, and finally, the key takeaways. API testing is a software testing technique that confirms whether the API is working as expected. It focuses on software functionality and behavior. Unlike traditional testing methods, which focus on the GUI, API testing targets the business logic layer of the software architecture. In API testing, requests are sent to the server and responses are analyzed and verified to determine whether they are correct. Businesses use API testing to check for security vulnerabilities, performance issues, and other potential bugs. And feel free to comment how many of you are working on API testing so that it will be good to know for me. Next, we will see a small statistics about API testing. According to the state of API in 2024, a survey was conducted by Postman. 74% of respondents are API first in 2024, up from 66% in 2023. The shift is happening from code first to API first. Next, we will see why does API testing matters. To make it easier to understand, I am sharing the real-time incident about the importance of API testing. How many of you are using UPI? UPI is a disruption in digital payments, right? It is integrated with our daily life. We tap and make payments everywhere, from the street vendor to big malls. If some of you from other countries don't know about UPI means, it is the payment wallet like GPay and Apple Pay. So, but do you remember the digital payment method UPI crashed in April 2025? It left the public stranded and helpless in malls, restaurants, and in other places. Another lesser known but impactful reason is the lack of rate limits in transaction status checks. For instance, in April 2025, banks executed excessive status checks, flooding the UPI network and caused an effective self-inflicted denial of service attack. API testing helps to prevent such failures by ensuring APIs function correctly before they reach production. APIs are the backbone of modern applications. They connect services, enable features, and allow systems to communicate with each other. When API endpoints break, entire applications can crash. Next, we will see how you can interact with the API. To interact with the API, you must send HTTP requests to the API endpoints. For instance, in an API testing tool, you can configure the request method, get, post, put and delete, set headers and include request bodies. Parameterizing tests, you must also configure the test with different input values. This helps ensures that the API can handle a variety of inputs correctly. You must also ensure that the tests include the necessary authentication steps, including OAuth tokens, API keys, or basic authentication headers. Next, we will see how to validate the test result. Finally, examine the API responses to ensure they meet the expected results, such as verify that the API returns the correct HTTP status codes, check the content of the response body for accuracy. Validate the response headers contain the expected values and properties. Once you have the results, you can capture detailed logs of the test execution, including both request and response details. This will be beneficial during debugging, providing a clear record of what was tested. Ensure you have a process for documenting and handling errors and exceptions of if the test fails due to bugs or issues. Next, we will see about the challenges of API test. If API testing is so important, why is still a challenge? Writing API tests requires technical knowledge, making it hard for new testers to ramp up. APIs change frequently, and updating test scripts is a constant struggle. Testing different versions of an API and ensuring backward compatibility can be complex. We must implement versioning strategies and maintain separate test suites for each API version. When a piece of code is wrongly defined, it leads to an errant entry which can cause functionality issues. Sometimes the written scripts are prone to mistakes, leading to incomplete or inaccurate test coverage. These challenges slow testing impact release schedules, and increase the risk of defects reaching production. Next, we will see about our journey with API testing. In our team, API testing used to be a regular, comprehensive journey. We would get the API endpoints from the backend team, and that was just the beginning. Someone had to sit down and review the endpoints, understand the data flows, and prepare a test strategy. Then we would design the test framework, write the test scripts, review each other's work, execute the test, and finally review the results. Next, we will see how we brainstormed. During our brainstorming on the API testing workflow, we identified several key challenges that impact our daily work. One recurring issue is the inconsistency in API responses during the early development cycles, which leads to delays and unnecessary troubleshooting. The absence of clear and stable API contracts often confuses, resulting in rework and misaligned expectations between teams. Additionally, maintaining stable and reusable test data across different environments remains a struggle, and debugging test failures is often time consuming due to unclear logs or flaky test setups. We also reviewed our current testing frameworks. While the existing tools are useful for quick validations, we have transitioned towards more robust solutions such as REST Assured that integrate better with pipelines and support deeper validations. Marking tools like Wiremark are being introduced to simulate dependencies and allow earlier and more isolated testing. We also align assertion libraries and test reporting tools to ensure that results were easier to interpret and debug. The primary focus area was onboarding and training. New team members often face a steep learning curve, particularly in understanding the layered architecture of our APIs and underlying business logic. To support them, we have started offering pairing sessions, created quick start guides covering authentication flows and endpoint conventions, and provided sandbox environments where they can experiment without impacting any production data. To maintain delivery speed without compromising quality, we have implemented a layered, that is, a tiered testing strategy. Lightweight smoke tests are triggered on every pull request to catch high level issues quickly. More comprehensive regression tests are run during nightly builds or before code is pushed to staging. We also have a system in place to quickly flag unstable or flaky tests so they don't block the deployment pipeline. Constant communication with developers helps clarify requirements early and ensure edge cases are considered during test design. At some point, out of sheer frustration, I remember saying to myself, there has to be a better way. Why can't we just describe what we want to be tested and let something else do the heavy lifting? That's when the idea started brewing. Could AI help? Could we build something that would simplify all of this, not replace testers, but empower them? Next, we will see our transformation journey. The existing process worked, but let us be frank, it took time, especially when a new person joined the team. When Malar, a new tester, joined our QA team, she was excited, sharp, curious, and ready to help. But after day one, it was clear our setup was not simple. We had a framework that worked, but it took time to understand. Naming patterns, folder structures, and custom test hooks all made sense once you knew it. But getting there, that took days, sometimes weeks. I remember her saying, I want to start contributing early, but I am still figure out how this all fits together. That's when we started asking ourselves, what if we didn't make every new joiner climb this hill? What if an assistant could handle the heavy lifting? So we started exploring an idea. Could we give it the API endpoints and the requirements and let it handle the rest? built the test plan, set up the test suite, wrote the API test scripts, and even showed a clean summary of the test results. The tester's role shifts from writing boilerplate code to reviewing, exploring, and improving quality. Like that, no more boilerplate, no hours lost figuring out where to place what. It's not about removing the tester, but removing the repetitive stuff. So testers can do the work that actually needs thought. We started asking ourselves questions like, what if a tester could just say, check that the login API returns 200 for valid credentials, and that's it. What if they didn't need to write the single line of code at the start itself? When we first introduced the idea of bringing in an AI assistant for API testing in our internal team meeting, the room got quiet. What will be the first question? Is AI going to replace me? And then one of the team members asked the question. The rest of the team was thinking, wait, is this going to replace what we do? Genuinely, it was a fair question. Change like this can feel heavy, especially when the tool talks about generating scripts and speeding things up. A few heads nodded. Others stayed silent, but the concern was written all over their faces. So we paused. We stepped back and said, this is not about removing testers, it is about removing the things that drain your energy. We explained to the team that all as you know, writing the same authentication test again, copying and pasting payloads, checking response codes manually. This is not where your brain does its best work. The real value testers bring is not in repeating steps, it is in spotting what others miss, asking better questions, and noticing what feels off. That's what this assistant is here to support. It does not think, it does not understand context, it does not care if your flow feels clunky. You do. And we want to give you more space to do that, not less. We said we are not replacing you, we are giving you a jump start so you can do the parts of testing that need you. And that shifted the conversation. Some folks still have questions, that is normal, but now the tone has changed. Curiosity is creeping in because deep down we all want to work smarter and feel like machines doing the same thing over and over. Next question is, just use it or learn it. When it comes to AI agents in testing, these two questions always will come. There are multiple scenarios. One of the scenario is you need quick smoke test coverage before the next deployment. You enter the test requirements and the AI generates test scripts. You review, tweak, and execute, all done in minutes. It is in staging during the development of APIs. Why it works? You save time. The assistant does the heavy lifting. You don't need to know how the model works internally. Just validate the output. When learn it matters. The scenario is the AI recommends a test you don't agree with, or it misses a critical edge case, or worse, it generates something that looks right but doesn't test anything meaningful. Why it matters? If you don't understand what it is doing, you might miss uncommon gaps. You don't need to be a data scientist, but you should know how to review, challenge, and guide the AI output. Meet Ali, our internal AI agent. So we built it for our use. A simple internal tool, we called it Ali. We input the API endpoint and select the request type. So a tester enters the test idea and the requirements in plain English. The agent processes the request, interprets the goal, and builds a corresponding API test script for the given details. The tester reviews, refines if needed, and runs it. Suddenly, instead of spending 30 to 40 minutes writing and validating a single script, you are getting a working draft in under a minute. Even better. Just a minute. I wanted to show you the video of that. Now, instead of just talking about this, let me show you how it works. And in the demo, you will see a tester enters the test requirement in plain English with the API endpoints and request type. Okay. And then the response data as well as the generated test code. The script can be generated in PyTest as well as in rest assured. In both the languages, it will be done. The example is showing in the get request, and next we are going to see the post request example. Okay, similarly, you can give the test requirement type, like how it should be there and what request type, and the endpoint name we can give it in the API endpoint input. Okay, so the script has been generated now, and we can execute the test also from here. The result is shown here. And next, similarly, the tester is doing for the put request as well as the patch request example. And the requirements are what are all the things the agent is going to be do, that we can mention in the requirements, the test requirements input. Okay. And the generated test script is shown here. You can execute the test. The result is shown here. The summary report is available here. Okay. I hope you have seen how our internal AI agent Ali helped in API testing. Okay. Next, we will see what is the impact on our internal AI agent on testers and the team. Easier onboarding for new testers since they don't have to learn complex scripting and the existing framework on day one. Made it easier for newcomers to start contributing right away and learn the deeper skills as they go. It also assists senior testers by saving time on setup, maintenance, and repetitive workflows. Now, instead of spending days learning naming conventions, code structure, Muller could focus on what mattered. The best part, she was writing meaningful feedback within her first 2 days. We didn't remove the tester, we removed the repetitive stuff that held them back. And that shift, it is not the future, it is already happening. With the right tools, that work gets done much faster, saving you hours and keeping the release cycle on track. Less effort on repetitive tasks allowed testers to focus on strategic testing. It gives us back time to focus on tricky edge cases, exploratory testing, and quality conversations that move the product forward. If you wanted to know more about how our internal AI agent works, you can always reach out to us at info@ktouch.com, and you can reach out in our LinkedIn page also. Okay. Next, we will see it helps us expanding ideas of the internal AI agent. It helps us a team to do our work better. We will expand this further based on our team and our product needs. In the future, a few ideas we have it to expand its functionality, identifying and filling the test gaps, and ensuring we cover everything required for the testing. Automatically recommend different combinations of data inputs. We can test how the API handles a huge range of scenarios without us having to manually think of every single one. Keeping tests up to date efficiently and effortlessly. APIs change all the time, and broken tests are a headache. We are developing ways for our QA ally to notice when things shift and then help us quickly update our tests, saving tons of time on maintenance, giving the deeper insights into API health. Next, we will see about the traditional versus AI assisted API testing. Changes to APIs require significant manual updates. AI can detect changes and suggest or test updates automatically. Manual testing risks missed assertions, flaws. AI standardizes logic and automates validations to reduce oversight. Deep knowledge of HTTP payloads and tools like Postman or code libraries is needed. AI lowers the barrier by simplifying test creation. Next, we will see what AI can and can't do in testing. AI can generate test scripts from user actions, plain English, or API specs, saving time on boilerplate coding. Identify missing test scenarios by analyzing patterns, usage data, or common edge cases we can often overlook. Assist with API contract validation. Automatically check if responses follow the defined schema. What AI can't do? It can't replace human judgment. It can't weigh trade-offs, customer impact, or product intuition. AI doesn't grasp domain-specific rules, exceptions, or priorities without context. Outputs must still be reviewed, refined, and approved by testers. Think of AI as an assistant, not a replacement. Of course, implementing AI was not without challenges. AI generated tests still require human validation. Edge cases need manual intervention. The model must continuously learn to improve accuracy. AI is a powerful tool, but it requires the right balance between automation and human expertise. Next, we will see the bigger picture of AI in testing. AI is shaping the future of testing. The goal is not to remove testers, but to empower them. Faster, more efficient testing means higher quality software releases. It is about removing the repetitive load so testers can focus on what matters. With AI handling the mundane, testers can be more involved in product thinking and user experience. Faster feedback loops mean bugs get caught earlier, saving time and cost for development teams. AI can help identify gaps in test coverage by analyzing historical defects and user behavior. The best results come when testers and AI work together, each doing what they do best. Next, we will see how you can also start with AI in testing. If you want to explore AI for testing, start small. Start with what slows you down the most. Look at your day to day. What tasks eat up your time but don't need deep thinking? It could be writing similar test scripts over and over or keeping up with changes in the UI. This is your entry point. Pick one tool, one goal. Don't try to AI everything in the first shot. Choose one AI powered tool, maybe for test case generation or smart element locators, and give it a real task in a low risk environment. Try it in a safe space first. Use a test project or a staging environment to experiment. This way, you can see what works and what doesn't without stressing about deadlines or releases. Involve your team early in this cycle. Let your testers play with the tool, share their thoughts, and get comfortable. AI in testing is not just a tech shift, it is a mindset shift. Don't expect magic, expect momentum. AI won't solve everything overnight, but if it saves you even 30 minutes a day or highlights a few blind spots, that's already a progress. Keep it practical, not perfect. Focus on value, not novelty. Use AI where it helps, skip it where it adds noise. Look for tools that play nice with your technology stack. You don't need to overhaul your whole setup. Many AI tools plug right into Selenium, Postman, or Cypress or your existing test management system like KTouch. Stay curious and keep your notes. What surprised you and what annoyed you? Use that feedback to decide what to expand or skip. Share what you learned. Whether in a team retro or writing about your AI experiments builds learning for everyone. Don't forget, keep the human in the loop. AI is there to help, not replace. The best results happen when it supports your thinking, not when it tries to do all the thinking for you. Encourage your team members to work on AI and ML projects, participate in hackathons, and experiment with different tools and techniques. By following these steps, organizations can effectively integrate AI and ML into their testing processes and ensure their teams are well equipped with the necessary skills and knowledge. Next, we will see what is next. We should not stop with learning only. What is the impact of it? We can start with a small initiative within your team for AI and implement what you have learned. Learning by doing will give you an immense knowledge. Next, we will see the summary of the session. Quality is not a bottleneck, it is a shared goal enabled by smarter tools. AI can simplify and accelerate API test automation. AI helps to identify missing test cases and ensures coverage. AI won't replace testers, empowers them. Make AI your ally to do better your work. Happy testing. Do you have any questions?
Thank you so much, Bhavani, for the wonderful session. So we all enjoyed the slides and your explanation as well. So we'll wait for a few questions. Otherwise, we almost like running out of time as well. So we can answer some quick questions, or else like we will keep the comments and also like question we will forward to you. And yeah, let me share a few things.
Okay. Uh, Actually, how would you debug? And thank you for this question, Pradeep. Stabilize on intermittently failing API test in AI powered tools. Yeah, the dynamic data timing issues are actually for this we have to train our model to make it better. Actually, how good is our data? Based on that only the model performs. So it is a continuous work. we are fine tuning it. So that's why we are keeping it as for our internal use to shape it better. And yeah, everything will be failures. Also, we can what we can do is for failures we can give a retry option, as well as to debug and analysis. We can over the period of time we will have the data for the training, as well as we will be able to review the failures and the patterns, matching patterns, and we will overcome that. Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you, Pradeep, for the question. Like any other question, like feel free to ping and comment, or else like even you can drop your questions here as well, like info at qatest.com. We will happy to answer all the questions. And yeah, thank you so much, Bhavani. So almost like we at the end of the session. So with the closing note, like we can wind up this great evening. So thanks,
Thank
Bhavani,
you.
for
Thank you, team.
the.
Wish you all once more a happy Testers Day. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
So hey everyone. So it's time for the closing note as well. So, for example, sitting in the same place for like 2 to 3 hours, like it is not easy. And thank you so much for everyone patiently sitting at your home or office, like wherever. So it is great to see all your comments and also question. It's motivate everyone. So thank you so much. As we come to the end of QA Touch Feature Test 2025, I want to thank all of our speakers for sharing their valuable knowledge and experience, and all of you for being such an engaging audience. Let's continue to learn, grow, build stronger testing community together. Once again, happy Global Testers Day. Wishing you this success in all your testing journey. Thank you so much. And guys, like we will soon host our next event. We'll see you soon, everyone. Wish you very happy Testers Day. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pradeep, and thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Bill. Thanks, Charlie. Thank you, Kalyani. But like, don't worry. We will send you the video, the recording. So don't worry. You can able to catch up. Thanks, Elsia, and thank you, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.